Great. See you later.
Mike,
how
I'll
hard is
ask.
it for you guys to get it down to just 6?
The last spot was the most difficult one. Because, I mean, there are a number of guys that we could have named 12, 15. Like, it's just, there's so many good players that, you know. Yeah, so I think just the last spot was the most difficult one to come up with.
With the 60 you named, I mean, Mike, this is for you. What does it say about the type of team that you want to have? Do these 6 players represent anything in terms of? I mean, we know they're hungry, but does it represent a type of team?
Sure, it does. You know, these guys play the game a certain way, and when you look at their skill sets. And we're probably not unlike a lot of the other nations in this regard, because you're dealing with the best players of your nation, and so you know, these are the elite of the elite. So you know, the guys that inevitably we chose, the first handful of guys, not only are they great players, but they're good leaders. You know, they have a certain pride in playing for their nation, and you know, these are guys that I think can be an extension of both Billy and myself and what we're trying to accomplish as a team. So we're thrilled, you know, to have the opportunity to name these guys. But like Billy said, there's you know, there's a number of guys that could have been selected. They're not easy decisions because there's so many talented players out there.
Like you've been through this process before. What's it like? You're also focused on the Penguins during the season, but you're also watching. You have a scouting hat on. You try to meet with guys. You know, if they come to Pittsburgh, what's that process like when there's American players, especially the bubble guys?
Yeah, so it's, for me, it's you know, it's just an extension of what we do on a daily basis. So, you know, one of the things that we've already started. You know, Billy invited us to Minnesota for meetings already. You know, we've talked about a process to put in place beforehand so that we get a lot of the legwork done, so that when everybody's regular season starts or we go to training camp, obviously there needs to be a focus on our NHL teams. That's our responsibility. But I just think it's an extension of what we do every day, and I look forward to the opportunity to you know, to go through this challenge, both with Billy and the group that he's assembled, and with the players, quite frankly. So I don't think it will be, you know, a ton of heavy lifting. I think there'll be a natural process that takes place as we compete against one another. You know, we've talked about a process that we're going to put in place leading up to this tournament that gives us a chance to hopefully hit the ground running.
What was it like to have 2022 taken away?
Well, it was disappointing. I mean, obviously, anytime you get an opportunity like this to represent your nation and at such at the pinnacle of the sport, we were all, you know, humbled and honored and excited about the opportunity, and we were well down the road of you know, the roster selection. It was a fun process that we went through to get to where we were going to go, and then obviously the NHL pulled out. So that was disappointing to all of us. This is a great opportunity for us once again. It's, you know, I was thrilled that Billy asked me to be the head coach, and you know, to go back at it again and have the opportunity once again is a thrill for all of us.
Hey Mike, what's it like getting a chance to coach Austin Matthews instead of coaching against him?
Well, anytime you have players of that caliber, you certainly would rather have them on your bench. That's for sure. You know, and so it will be exciting. You know, it will give me an opportunity. It will give Billy an opportunity to get to know these guys on a more personal note, and that's one of the things that I think it is one of the more fulfilling things of these types of experiences. You get to know people and build relationships, and we obviously have so much respect for them as athletes, and we see what they do every night on the ice. But when you start to work with people, you know, on a daily basis or in these types of tournaments, you get to know people, and for me, that's one of the more rewarding parts of it. So, you know, to have these types of guys on our bench, we're certainly excited about the opportunity and the potential of what our roster might look like.
Mike, I guess in a similar vein, you've obviously coached against Adam Fox quite a bit. Just what do you expect him to bring to this group? What do you expect him to be like having him on your bench?
So I would expect him to bring the same thing he brings to the Rangers. You know, one of the things that I said to him when I called him after, after Billy had already spoken to him just about the selection process was, I told him I'm thrilled to have him on my side for once instead of having to figure out how to defend against him. So we had a couple of laughs about that. But I would expect him to be the player that he is and bring what he brings. He's one of the elite defensemen in the league. He's one of the better power play defensemen in the league. We've certainly had our challenges trying to defend against him and playing in the same division. I feel like I know his game really well because of all the battles that we've had. We had a playoff series against him a couple of years ago, so to have him on our bench will be comforting.
Billy,
Loads of different personalities to bring in that building chemistry. With this, talking about a stacked team, is there a tactic or a play off the ice when you have a one-on-one meeting and sort of the message you want to get across? So many strong personalities, strong talents.
Sure, there is. I think that's the process we go through at the NHL level. Also, when you're associated with teams that will have a lot of star power, my experience certainly has been that that they're people that have strong personalities and have strong convictions, and that's part of what makes them elite. That's part of what makes them who they are as both players and people. And so, for me, that's something that as coaches at the NHL level we deal with fairly consistently. And in Pittsburgh, we've certainly had our fair share of star power. So I don't think it's anything different than what we deal with. There might be more of them. And Billy and I have had discussions about this and how we're going to try to deliver certain messaging and create a certain identity. And it's really about being a team, right? And so that's going to be our challenge, both us and the players together. And every team, you look at the rosters, every team is going to have lots of talent. So it's going to boil down to a lot of subtleties, and for me, it's about becoming a team as quickly as we can.
Mike, you coached in the Olympics before as an assistant.
Anybody have a question?
Speak up.
You coached in the Olympics before as an assistant. Just what do you remember about that experience on the ice, off the ice?
So it was an incredible experience, and one of the greatest takeaways from it. The obvious part is the competition on the ice. It's best on best, and when you have an opportunity to represent your nation, it's just an incredible privilege. The thing that I remember a lot about was the experience of being in the Olympic Village, having breakfast or lunch or dinner or something with other athletes that represent the United States, and having the ability to have casual conversations about their experiences. And that was something that I cherish to this day. I really enjoyed the opportunity to get to know some of the athletes that were competing in other sports that were representing their nation. It's an incredible experience. The Olympics is unique. I think this Four Nations tournament that we will participate in with the NHL is to a certain extent a precursor to that. But there's lots of so many positive experiences that you can take from it. But those are some of the few that I remember.
Billy, if you
Billy, you jump in on that?
No, because Dan's been trying to ask a question for 5 minutes, and he finally spoke up. So I'll let Dan ask a question.
you can answer that first.
I don't even know what the question was.
Playing in the Olympics, what was it like?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, it's the Olympics. Like Sully said, it's a coming together of all these great American athletes that you get to know, and you can have lunch with, the dinner with in the dining hall, but the athletes from all the other countries, and some of the athletes go there knowing that they're probably not even going to medal, but they train just as hard as everybody else. They compete as hard as everybody else. That's the true essence of sport, right? And they love it. They're going there to represent the country. I thought that was one of the really cool things about it.
Now, my question was, for 2 decades plus now, when it went into a best-on-best hockey tournament, Canada was always the favorite. Is Canada still the favorite? Or if the U.S. here, especially with your roster, you have caught up enough to where this tournament's the ultimate chance?
I think everybody's gotten better. I think Canada still, remains one of the better teams out there, or better countries out there. but our player pool right now is what I feel is second to none. I think over the last 20 years, USA Hockey's done a terrific job. You know, the NTDP has been, you know, a huge part of that. You know, just the overall focus on, you know, development of the players at a young age. But then, hey, look, you look at Sweden, you look at Finland, you look at, you know, Czech just won the World Championship. Every country's good. Every country's every team's gonna have all-stars or superstars on it. It's really tough to say this is the best team. That's it. Hey, look, we're gonna put our best team on the ice, and we're gonna have to play the games and find out.
How much would you worry that when you're